America's dairy industry is much more than milk. It creates jobs, economic activity, and opportunities for local businesses and people throughout the country.
Well, the dairy industry is a very important segment of the U.S. economy, not only because we provide a nutritionally rich foodstuff for the American consumer, but also because of the economic activity that the dairy industry generates. It's said that for every dollar of income on the farm, it generates a total of $3 in the economy. We're talking about from farm to fork in terms of economic generation there. But it also, nationwide, I believe the number is something over 900,000 jobs connected with the dairy industry. So it's an important economic engine for the national economy.
Today's dairy farmers take pride in producing a wholesome, nutritious product while providing the best in animal care.
We as dairy farmers are sometimes misunderstood because we definitely care about our families, we care about the environment, we care about our neighbors, we care about the cows. We know if we don't take good care of them, they're not going to take good care of us. So it's a win-win when we all work together with our friends, our neighbors, our family, and our co-op. We all have good outcomes.
Well, dairy farmers are first and foremost animal caregivers. We put in a lot of hours. We work every day of the week to know that we want to make these cows as comfortable as we can. Because at the end of the day, we know that we are making a wholesome, pure product called milk. Some of the things that I do on our dairy to keep these cows comfortable are all the barns have curtains on them. So in the winter time, when it's cold and windy, we'll roll the curtains down to keep the animals comfortable. In the summertime, we'll roll them all the way up to keep a natural breeze going through the barns. On really hot days, we have fans all throughout the barns to cool the cows, and also we have sprinklers that spray water on the cows' backs to keep them cool. Another thing that we do to keep these cows comfortable is they lay on fresh, clean sand. Every time the cow goes to the parlor gets milk, this sand bedding that they lay on gets cleaned every time. So it's like the beds are getting made 3 times a day for these cows. And plus, I like to say that our cows get to go to the beach every day. Probably one of the most important parts to keeping these cows comfortable and healthy is our nutrition. We work very closely with a nutritionist. He is here every month, and we are talking every week. All the rations are put together from him. We know exactly what these cows are eating. How many pounds, how many calories, how much starch, how much protein. These cows have a more balanced diet than I do. I can guarantee that.
Michigan Milk Producers Association has been a leader in milk marketing for nearly a century. Since its inception in 1916, the dairy farmer member owners of the cooperative have focused on the efficiencies and progressiveness needed to survive in the competitive world of milk marketing.
In the early 1900s, MMPA was created because farmers realized competing against themselves was not in the best interest for themselves or the industry. Coming together and acting as a unit to command market presence was a better way of doing business. Therefore, they formed cooperatives that helped them align the same business need, which is extracting value from the market conditions. When bottling was big in industry, we were able to capitalize on that by having bottling facilities. Now that our efforts are focused more on niche products, such as dairy ingredients going into food products, we've been able to maintain good customer relations and establish products that the consumer is demanding. Things like butter, powder, ice cream, yogurt are all products that we participate in the industry.
In addition to marketing the milk on their members' farms, Michigan Milk Producers Association also focuses on animal care and environmental issues within the dairy industry.
If I could tell a consumer one thing about dairy farmers, it's that they love their cows and the cow is the center of the farm.
As consumers have become more interested in their food supply, where it comes from, and also how the animals are cared for in the case of dairy, MMPA recognized why people wanted to know the answer to that question, and we have become very actively involved in the National Dairy Farm Program, which is an acronym for Farmers Assuring Responsible Management. Basically what that program is when our members call one of our field staff Our field staff comes out with a checklist and walks through the facility and asks questions on animal care, veterinary care, many different questions related to animal care. And if sees something that may not be perfect, they'll point it out to the producer as an educational tip on, you know, if you did this a little bit differently, you might have a better result. We have encouraged our producers to become involved in it. Today we have a little over 83% of our milk volume involved in that program voluntarily. It speaks high volumes about the interest that our members have in assuring the consumer that we are taking good care of our animals.
The Michigan Milk Producers Association's sustainability mission is to produce wholesome, safe, and high-quality dairy products to feed a growing population in an environment that provides the best possible care for our animals, our land, and our families.
Well, sustainability means different things to different people, but for farmers and Michigan milk producer farmers, I think it means the ability to be in business 10 years from now and to be able to pass the family farm on to the next generation in even better shape than when they got it.
If we were to look at how we produce a gallon of milk right now compared to how we made a gallon of milk in 1944, currently it takes 90% less land to make 1 gallon of milk, 65% less water, and in doing so we have 75% less manure. So in overall, looking at our carbon footprint from now compared to 70 years ago, we have a 65% lower carbon footprint than what we did 70 years ago. And for myself and the dairy industry as a whole, that's a great story to tell in itself.
Changing the lights in the barn, getting more efficient fans and cooling equipment in the milking parlor, those have all helped decrease energy use on the farm. And that does a couple of things. It saves farmers money, it decreases their carbon footprint, and it allows that energy to be used by other people, like to heat their homes and their schools.
Because sustainability is so important to the Michigan Milk Producers Association, they carry their sustainability mission throughout their operation, including at the 2 dairy manufacturing plants they own.
We've increased energy efficiency on several fronts. Electrical conservation, there's a lot of occupancy sensor lighting, new environmental friendly lighting, LED lighting, water conservation. We evaporate a lot of water here and reclaim a lot of water from our process, from the incoming milk, and reusing that water in our boilers, in our cooling towers, and back in our process for cleaning. We're actually, and we treat that water, and we're actually putting out more clean water into the environment than we're pulling out.
The Michigan Milk Producers Association partners with the National Milk Producers Federation in order to provide members with the tools that they need.
If you're not involved in the political scene, then you're going to get forgotten or run over by the political machine. So we've never had a board meeting in the time I've been on the board, but there wasn't some point in that meeting when we discussed an issue that was either directly related to legislation that had just been passed, pending legislation, or a regulatory issue that was going to directly affect the dairy farmer.
The decisions made are not only for increasing profits for the members, but to make a better way of life for all dairy farmers.
Today, I think it's really important for consumers to learn more about what actually goes on a real dairy farm so that they are connected to their food and that it is a locally grown product. That's why I think it's been great that Michigan Milk Producers has supported a program called Breakfast on the Farm, along with Michigan State University. In the past 5 years, over 50,000 Michigan consumers have been able to set foot on dairy farms, see the cow, see the comfort and the quality milk, and it's going to help us have customers that really understand what a great product we're producing.
When I see the MMPA logo anywhere, on a truck, on a shirt, I'm proud. I'm proud to be a part of the association. I'm proud to be the fact that I serve as president of the association. I take pride in our farms, I take pride in our plants, the product we're producing. I know that our members feel the same way.
Michigan Milk Producer Association members know that they are better working together to market their milk than they could be working on their own. For more information, visit www.mimilk.com or call 248-474-6672.